Welcome to the next video in capital allocation, moving beyond pure numbers into the realm of wisdom and stewardship. In Module 4, you also have a Christian living application assignment, and this will tie into that as well. In this lecture, we'll bridge financial rigor with strategic clarity and ethical principles. You'll see that great capital allocation is not just about calculating NPV. It's about aligning every investment with mission, competitive advantage, and moral integrity. I like to say, spreadsheets tell the story of yesterday's decisions. Stewardship shapes tomorrow's possibilities. Before we jump forward, let's revisit that tech flow dilemma, the one that was similar to your case study, Victoria Chemicals. Under traditional DCF, Project Alpha won on higher NPV, but when we adjusted for risk, beta suddenly looked much more appealing. This is the real world of finance, where the right answer changes once you layer in uncertainty, capital limits, and strategy. The math gives us clarity. Context gives us wisdom. Excel is powerful, but it doesn't know your company's vision. You do. Here's the critical question before any model runs. What game are we playing? The most precise calculation is useless if you're optimizing the wrong objective. Think about Netflix in 2011, when they shifted from DVD rentals to streaming. That wasn't just a capital budgeting decision, it was a strategic realignment. If they had used old success metrics, they'd have killed future business. The best capital allocators invest where moats deepen, projects that strengthen what makes your company unique. There are 3 rules for strategic alignment. Invest where moats deepen. That means reinforcing durable competitive advantage, brand, technology, or network effects. Say no to distractions. Great firms die of indigestion, not starvation. They say yes to too many good ideas. System over heroics. Sustainable capital allocation comes from disciplined process, not from the brilliance of one executive. Warren Buffett calls capital allocation the CEO's most important job. The best companies make it systematic. Now let's move from theory to flexibility. Traditional DCF assumes one moment in time. Once you invest, you're locked in. But that's not how managers operate. We learn as we go. Real options thinking recognizes that projects aren't binary. They come with options to defer, to expand, or abandon. These flexibilities have real quantifiable value, especially when uncertainty is high. This is why good managers don't just think, approve, or reject. They think, stage, test, and adapt. Now, when we apply those real options to tech flow, Alpha included that expansion option. It could scale across other facilities if successful. Beta includes a learning option. It's a pilot that limits downside but offers upside if proven. And both have a deferral option. We could pause for 6 months to gather intelligence. In practice, this is what differentiates good project management from great capital stewardship, recognizing and valuing flexibility. In the real world, budgets are always constrained. You've probably seen this in your own experience. You never get all the capital you want, so the question becomes, which mix of projects maximizes portfolio value? Superior allocators evaluate 4 dimensions: expected value, risk, optionality, and strategic fit. Think of it like assembling a sports team. You don't want 5 superstars playing the same position. You balance risk, performance, and flexibility. This slide is pure gold for your career. When presenting to executives, don't start with your model, start with your decision. In the first 30 seconds, they should know which project, how much, and why. Then unpack your assumptions and ranges. Executives don't want suspense. They want clarity. Lead with the conclusion, then show the 20% of data that explains 80% of the variance. Now, this section beautifully connects finance to faith. We all know the parable of the talents in Matthew 25 and that it teaches stewardship. And stewardship requires active, wise use of resources. And stewardship requires active, wise use of resources, not hiding them out of fear. Biblical stewardship isn't anti-profit, it's pro-purpose. It's about managing what's entrusted to us with integrity and courage. Calculated risk-taking is commendable when it's guided by discernment and responsibility. Recklessness, however, is not stewardship, it's gambling. Here's where even smart leaders trip up sometimes. First, sunk cost bias. We keep funding bad projects because we've already spent money on it, and we feel like it might be wasteful to move on. Second, it is vanity projects, ego-driven initiatives disguised as strategy. And third is short-termism, sacrificing long-term advantages for quarterly optics. This is very common among managers because their pay is often tied to those short-term gains. Every finance team needs guardrails, clear exit criteria, devil's advocate reviews, and long-term incentives. Stewardship demands both courage to say yes and wisdom to say no. So pause here and think. How would optionality reshape your decision process? Could you design smaller pilot investments to reduce uncertainty? What could you learn from a 6-month delay? This is what helps us connect theory to real decision making. Think about one real-world project where learning before scaling would have changed the outcome. All right, so let's tie it all together here. Strategy first, finance second. Numbers serve the vision, not the other way around. Real options add hidden value. Flexibility deserves a price tag. Stewardship means wise risk. Fear-based inaction destroys potential value just as much as reckless overconfidence. Capital allocation is both art and science, and in faith-driven leadership, it's also moral practice. To wrap up, here are resources for deep dives. You can use academic foundations for real-world theory, Warren Buffett's letters, and case archives. These show how world-class allocators think. Take some time when you need to explore what other practitioners are doing and their perspective. Remember, excellence in capital allocation is about clarity, discipline, and integrity. Numbers matter, but principles endure.